Logical response.
People with a capacity for pregnancy.
Men can get pregnant?
The trans men who are capable of pregnancy, because denying that trans people exist
Denying that trans people exist?
is transphobic. I'm answering a more interesting question to me.
Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to? Your classroom? Are students allowed? I'm opening up people to violence.
So we're back at it again, and I'm starting to enjoy making these. Specifically getting the videos that come from people testifying in front of Congress or in front of the Senate, because I'm finding that these people are saying some of the craziest crap you've ever heard. So that's where these videos mostly have been coming from, is the same thing. Now, is that something I started out doing because I wanted to? No. Just I heard one thing that somebody said was crazy and thought, that seems weird, let me talk about this. And then I see another video, let's talk about that. And see another one, and it seems like most of them have been coming from people testifying in front of Congress. And it's just one of the craziest things, because that's where laws are made. Saying some of this crazy crap kind of makes you wonder, what's really going on here? Me, I have no idea what's really going on. But I do enjoy breaking some of this stuff down. You get people like this lady that's in this video that I'm talking about here. She is a professor at a college. I can't remember which one it is exactly, but I remember it was a prestigious college like Columbia, Berkeley, one of those, something like that. So I'm watching this, and this lady's saying all this preposterous crap, and I'm like, hang on. Okay, well, I didn't go to college. So when I hear this stuff, it's like, well, that's stupid, but hang on, this lady's a professor, right? So that makes me kind of go back, and I do a little bit of research. I start looking up some of this stuff, reading some of these papers that are being published through the scientific journals like Nature, Science. When I'm done reading up on this stuff, my perspective hasn't changed. I still don't know why she's saying all this really ridiculous crap. We'll let this roll, and I will commentate on my way through just like I normally do, just to show everybody some of this really crazy shit people are saying. Here we go. It's going to be a roller coaster. So hold on to your hats, folks.
You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Yes, it would.
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic.
And right off the jump, she doesn't have a good argument. So she goes on the attack, calling him transphobic to make him look like he's scared of a transsexual person. And that kind of tactic, right off the jump, lets you know they don't have a good argument. At least that's what I've come to see. If you can't answer a question, you have to say that somebody's a racist or, homophobe or whatever. What comes next isn't going to be all that stunning. The next thing that comes out of their mouth is probably going to be BS.
And it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing them.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
I can answer this. I learned this one in the first grade. Boys have a penis and girls have a vagina.
No, I don't think so.
So you are denying that trans people exist?
And see, this is the place where the leap in logic is more of a jumping off of the cliff. There's nowhere to land except, way, way down at the bottom. Saying that men can't get pregnant is actually denying that trans people exist. Now, I didn't really know that. See, you would think that if you say men can't get pregnant, that's been known for at least 5,000-6,000 years to be the truth. But all those previous generations did not know that they were actually denying that trans people exist. Maybe that's why trans people didn't exist. That's it. Yep. Because all the people thought that men can't get pregnant, there were no trans people. The instant somebody thought, hey, I wonder if this guy can get pregnant, trans people.
And that leads to violence. Is this how you run your classroom? Or students allowed? Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this...
Okay, so if some of this video repeats, I tried to cut out all the repeating sections. I don't know if whoever originally uploaded this, it wasn't C-SPAN, but it looks like some of it got overlapped. I'm not sure. We're going to work through it anyway because it all goes together, but I kind of feel bad for this lady right now because if you look, she is very nervous and looks like on the verge of a panic
right
attack.
then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing that.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
Because of my line of questioning? So we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist
I'm
is
denying that trans
dangerous.
people exist by asking
Are you?
if you're
Are
talking
you?
about women
Are you?
having pregnancies.
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can
So
get
you are
pregnant.
denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Or students allowed to question you, or are they
Absolutely.
also treated like this, where
No,
they're
they're
told
allowed
that
to
they're
question.
opening up people to
Oh,
violence?
we have a good
by
time in my
questioning?
class. You should join.
Oh, I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot
I
just in this
know,
exchange.
absolutely.
Extraordinary.
Okay, well that was pretty much all for that topic. Her answer, or her non-answer, it's a classic example of how to not answer a question. The only problem is all these senators and congressmen are used to it because people do it all the time. People don't like accountability, so they come up with very clever ways to not answer questions. And this is one of the better ones, if you want to call it better. Kind of stupid, but you know, what do I know? I'm not a professor.
Do you think that a baby that is not yet born has value?
I believe that a person with a capacity for pregnancy has value. They have intelligence. They have agency. They
No,
have
I'm talking about
dignity.
the baby,
And I'm talking about the person with the capacity for
and
pregnancy.
you're not answering the question. I'm asking.
I'm answering a more interesting
you think
question.
that-
How arrogant do you have to be in a situation like that? Have somebody ask you a question, and then you tell them, I'm answering a more interesting question. That's not what they asked. And sure, it might be a more interesting question, but that's not what he asked. I really don't understand people sometimes. It doesn't make any sense to just tell somebody, yeah, I'm just going to answer a more interesting question because that question was stupid. He still wants an answer. And I bet the reason she said what she said is because nobody likes to hear the answer that she has for that question. Because it's insane.
You think that the baby that is not yet born, let's say the day before the mother delivers, do you think that baby has value?
I think that the person with the capacity for pregnancy has value, and they should have the ability to control what happens to their lives.
Well, and I just note you refuse to answer the question.
You know, personally, I don't claim to be politically left or right. I have noticed, though, that a lot of my outlook, I do tend to lean more right. To me, that's just logic. I mean, if you can't say biological female, you have to say a person with the capacity for pregnancy. I mean, aren't we getting a little bit ridiculous here? We've been using the term woman for ever since the term woman was invented, which I'm pretty sure that was probably one of the first words that we used to distinguish the difference between a man and a woman, because the differences are vast, biologically speaking. Now, do I think gender is specifically male or female? There's studies that show that there is a spectrum, right? But that's not the whole thing. You may think you're a woman, but if you have a twig and berries, you're not a woman. That's a difficult one to pin down. But when it gets to the point that we can't use terms that we've been using for thousands of years, it's getting a little bit crazy here. Why don't we dial this back a little bit? Calm down, okay? Nobody's saying that trans people don't exist. Me, personally, do what you want. You want to get a sex change, that's fine with me. I don't care. That's you. That's what my outlook is. You want to do it, do it. Go for it. If it makes you feel better, wonderful. If it'll save your life, do you need a ride to the clinic to get it whacked off? Because I'll bring you. If it'll stop somebody from committing suicide, hell yeah. Go right ahead. So life is more precious than anything else, in my opinion. And greed is the root of all evil, not necessarily money. But that's all I got today. Some of this stuff kind of brings me down sometimes. Some of it makes me laugh and gives me something to focus on, I guess. I kind of like doing this. You get me up in front of a stage, though, I'll probably run the other way. But I don't mind doing it here by myself. Nobody can hear me. That is, until I post it. But I have a lot of stuff that goes through my mind all the time. And, I finally have a way to get some of it out. Because I'm not a very good conversationalist. I can say that much. I'm one of those kind of people that I only respond when I'm spoken to, type of thing. Sometimes it's a hindrance and annoying. Other times it helps me out. But for everybody that's watched and everything, thank you. Appreciate it. Leave a like. Please subscribe. I'm getting a lot of viewers that aren't subscribed, and I really need some subscribers, so I would appreciate clicking that button. And thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one, and stay positive.